The big thing that I did this week, though, was I watched Mike Flanagan's new horror series on Netflix. It is called Midnight Mass. Um, he previously did Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. This is his third horror series. It's a big shift in how it's done because it's not here's a haunted house. It takes place on a fishing island, I think up in New England, probably up by Maine.
Yeah, it's in the Northeast.
And the island has about 150 people, I think, or less on it. Very, very small town. It's quite creepy, especially in the beginning. And man, Mike Flanagan he gets how to make these horror series. It was so good. He's 3 for 3. He's 4 for 4 if you count Doctor Sleep too, which could probably be a miniseries because it's like a 4-hour movie. Brett is peeing again.
Gotta pour that coffee nice and slow.
He's not pouring coffee.
Let it
He's
aerate.
peeing.
Gross.
You can't just rush magic. All right, I apologize, Luke. You can get back to your
Gosh dang it.
review.
But yeah, Mike Flanagan, 3 for 3 with these horror series, just incredible. The performances, and then the thing that really drives it forward are the themes that he always puts into his shows. The big themes this time being religion, faith, and then also into addiction and forgiveness. In the show, this priest shows back up to the island, and he's their new priest, and they don't really know what to think of him. And craziness ensues after that because it's horror. But the deep dive into the religion is just something you wouldn't expect. Specifically, Catholicism is where they get a lot of their Christian emphasis from.
Sure. They had to pick a branch, and that's
yeah. And it was just really interesting to see all the different perspectives that they had. Like, they have probably what most people think of Christians, which is these horrible hypocrites, judgmental on everybody. And the actress who had to play this role was so good. Let's see, what was her name? She was so mean to everybody. Samantha Sloan as Bev Keen. Really good. But they also, like, his mom, who was, I would say, as a Christian should be. And then they just have everything in between, and throughout the whole show, they're just asking these questions about, like, death and faith and, what is real, and then people start dying. And all these crazy, crazy things are happening. And I thought he did a really good job of just showing how Christianity is.
Okay.
All different sides of it. He just didn't go, Christians are hypocrites. Here they are. And he didn't just go, Christians are perfect. Just had the whole spectrum. And it was really nice to see because I feel like we are only ever viewed as hypocrites. And a lot of us are. I should say. Yeah. It's very, very true. Were you gonna ask something?
No. I was gonna say that I feel like a lot of media finds one aspect of any religion and hyper focuses on that for the the point of telling a story, right? But I really appreciate when storytellers really dive into the nuance of what is religion and what are the different avenues or streams of faith that kind of come out of belief systems. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. It makes me more excited to watch the show just because, I immediately, because most recently the thing that bothered me about a show using religion as a storytelling device was The Boys. In season 1, they had the one character who like ran this mega Christian conference thing, and of course he's a dirtbag human being who's like a predator and all these things, and
it always seems to be what it is.
It's always what they drive, and like it's nice to know that. I had no doubt with Flanagan, but it's nice to know that he's going to run like the spectrum of all the different, representations of religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to know that it was handled well.
It's also just it was cool to see what a religion will drive people, what it will drive people to do.
Yeah.
Even when possibly being led in a bad way.
Yeah.
A lot of religion honestly comes down to what the leader is telling you. And there's some not so good leaders on the island.
Lots of bad leaders, yep.
So, does it how quickly, like, is it pretty mysterious early? Like, is it like you're really trying to figure out everything on your own, or does it kind of just take you on a journey?
I'd say the first half of the show is what is happening.
Okay.
And then I can't remember the episode number. I think it was 3 or 4. It's only 7 episodes, so it's not long at all.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a lot of the answers, which just raises a lot more questions. And if you're interested in this show, I just want you to know this show does not go where you think it's going to. You might, like, after watching it for a while, you might be like, are they gonna do that? And you could be right. But, like, after just, like, watching the trailer, did not think it would head in that direction whatsoever. It's like, the scary aspect of the show, what you would assume is, because the scariest part of all these shows is the people, not the scary aspect. That's a common theme throughout all these shows. But it was such a strange choice, but it, like, makes perfect sense.
Did it have something to do with that shot that keeps mind-boggling
No.
me? Okay. I just cannot get past that.
That shot has to do with somebody's backstory.
Okay.
So I don't want to put false expectations in your head.
Okay.
Don't linger too much on that.
Okay. I just need to watch it.
So, Midnight Mass, recommendation?
I give all of his shows a booyah.
Yeah.
Out of sheer quality.
Yeah.
I know horror people aren't just not even going to look at it, so chew.
What would you say? I mean, I think you mentioned it's fairly gory.
Yes,
Like,
this
what's-
is
what
by
would-
far the
what-
goriest of the 3.
What would you say, like, if someone's pretty adverse to gore or language, or, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I love to recommend horror, but there's some people that I'm just like, I'll be on the fence, or there's some guys I won't recommend horror to, but
Yeah.
if you can if you can handle semi-scary movies, would you recommend this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If I can handle something scary, you'll probably be fine. There was some bits, especially in the first half, where it's more your classic horror jump scare, tense, scary bits. Where when I was watching it in the pitch dark, and I got a little nervous, and I had to turn the lights back on for a second, kind of regather myself. But I'm weak when it comes to that. The dog scared me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You darn dog. But, like, even we were watching TikTok one time in here, and it scared me. So I'm really weak when it comes to that type of stuff. But I think it's definitely not as bad as, like, Hill House. I think it's still the scariest one. I think this one is just far gorier. There's a lot more violence in this one.
Would you say this one's more of like the traditional horror as opposed to what he's done prior? Because because I would say he has like his own. I would say there is a Flanagan corner of horror at this point. Like he has his own style that I think is different from majority of everyone else, right?
I'd say it leans a little more into the classic, but it still has his directorial flair. Gosh dang it, you little puppy.
Because like, you know, I for example, right, like James Wan really likes to use some of those classical horror tropes, the sharp musical tones, the builds, all that stuff. Flanagan doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. He does that, like the opposite.
Yeah, it kind of has that, and it has the long camera shots where he's like, something's coming, something's coming. Where is it? Something's coming, and then you forget, and then there it is. But I'd say really only the first half is like that, and then the show changes and becomes something else, and the things that scare you are not the things that were scaring you. It's more of a, you're kind of just uncomfortable in the second half because it's a very dark show. But man, it's so good.
I'm excited to watch it. I am probably gonna start it this week.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Honestly, I'll probably, if I start it,
you'll probably just finish it.
Kind of like I did with Lemmy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I can't believe we're still in the, like, what did we do this week? But thank you for giving us that amazing review. Did you do anything else this week?